Amari Cooper, whenever you're ready. What's it like being back at the organization?
It's nice, man. It's a good feeling. Feels like a full circle moment. So I'm excited about the opportunity for sure, and I'm ready to embrace it.
You're also somebody who wants to win, I'm sure, at this stage of your career. Is there something about this team that you see that they're ready to turn that corner?
100%. I mean, starting with the quarterback, he's had a great last couple years. Him and Pete have always had, at least 10 wins everywhere they've been. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I actually came, because winning is so important to me, and then I also see the opportunity. So yeah.
So obviously it's a reunion, but it's a new city, new building, all kinds of new things. Does it feel like you're coming back to the organization, or does it feel like a different organization?
I mean, the Raiders is the Raiders, right? Whether they're in LA, Oakland, or Vegas.
What did you think when you walked in here compared to Alameda?
It's a night and day difference, honestly, in terms of the facility. It's always good to have a great facility, I guess. Guys feel more comfortable with a better facility, so it is of extreme importance, honestly.
In your position, what are you able to do while you weren't in training camp, just to kind of stay ready and be ready for this moment?
Yeah, just, keep my route sharp, make sure I'm running routes, make sure I'm, lifting, staying strong, things of that nature. You always want to, be sharp as a receiver with your route running. So, yeah.
Talk about, unfinished business, kind of with the Raiders coming back here. Like, is this something you always had in the back of your mind at some point you wanted to be back and kind of finish what you started here?
Yeah, honestly, I always kind of had that in the back of my mind because, when I was drafted here, I felt like the expectations were high. I felt like I did okay, but I always knew, why I was drafted. You draft a guy at top 5, you expect him to come and, really help change the organization. And, I felt like, at times, I showed flashes of doing that, but it wasn't to my expectations. So, like I said, this time around, I feel like I have unfinished business. I definitely see the opportunity, working with Gino to be able to do some great things. So I'm excited about it.
How excited are you to get to work with Gino and to kind of develop a rapport with him?
I'm very excited. It's something about, guys from South Florida, especially him being the quarterback. I think sometimes you just have a great rapport with guys in terms of like timing. Sometimes you can walk into a situation and the timing is automatically there. Today was my first day of practice. Didn't really know if I would practice today, honestly, coming off of a flight. But I'm excited about that, and I think the connection will be there automatically for sure.
Similarly,
You've been in situations now a couple times where you joined teams mid-season. Do you think that helps in terms of expediting the process of getting a new offense, getting acclimated to new teammates and all that?
What helps?
Well, just in terms of you.
Oh, the experience of doing it before?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good feel of what it's like. It's never been difficult for me to learn a playbook. So it's nothing new for me.
to that point, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about playing for Chip Kelly?
I feel good. He's a very dynamic play caller, always has been. Just my first day here, in the install meeting, in terms of the plays that were shown on the board, I already like what I was seeing, so I'm excited.
What were your top priorities when receiving offers from teams to join them as a free agent to be like, I want this? Was it a city? Was it a team? Was it coaches? Was there anything?
Really just two things. One, winning, and two, the opportunity to show what I can still do. I had a few teams hitting me up, but I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to show that I can. Trust me, I still got some juice left, so I want to show it. I want to show it, and I felt like this was the opportunity for me to show it.
How did it feel being out there? Did you feel that winning culture that you were looking for early on?
Yeah, with Pete, I've heard a lot of things about him. I was actually at the Pro Bowl one year where the Seattle coaches were coaching, and I got to get a good feel of his coaching style. A couple of his players were there at the Pro Bowl that year, and they were just telling me about, how practice is, how the organization is, and how Pete runs things. So, Pete, I think he texted me before I got here. He was like, I'm just saying, you know, I believe he said 21 straight years and 23 straight years of 10 plus win seasons. So I definitely get the feel of the winning culture for sure.
With your veteran experience and leadership, what's the big thing that you want to bring to this young receiver room? What do you think you can kind of add to them in terms of them being able to learn and, you know, taking the experience?
Yeah, just leadership. I've always been the type of guy to lead by example. I do want to work on leading vocally as well because, you know, I believe when you marry the two together, that's the best form of leadership. So, you know, like I said, you know, years go by fast. I mean, year 11 now. You got a couple rookies in the room, so I'll be glad to kind of, you know, show them, you know, a couple of the tricks of the trade because, you know, there are nuances to the game on this level. So I'm excited about that.
You said you were just off the plane. Did you land this morning?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess,
And I didn't get any sleep either.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep at all. I didn't sleep at all, man. But you know,
South
that's
Florida.
how the cookie crumbles sometimes. No, I came from Dallas.
They announced you're gonna wear 17 and you're wearing 19. I know it just became available the last couple hours. I guess what went into your thought process?
Well, I wore number 19 before. I wore number 9 in college. You know, something about that 9. Every time I wore number 9, it was, you know, I did some great things. So, you know, he knew that, you know, I wore 19 before. So, he's the one who told the equipment managers that, you know, to give me the opportunity to wear it because at first it wasn't available. So,
Amari, you still have the book club, and if so, you gonna bring it here, or what's on your reading list right now?
yeah, I actually bought like 4 or 5 books with me, but no, I don't have that book club anymore because I got more specific with my readings. At first, it was just scattered all over the place, but
Yeah.
you know, I narrowed the focus. I didn't want people to have to narrow that focus and just focus on these subjects. So I kind of stopped it, but who knows? I might bring it back one day.
And when you're walking through the building, it's the same organization, but I mean, not a lot of familiar faces. I mean, Greg Olson,
Yeah.
you know, and the equipment guys. Anybody else in the building that you look at and like, whoa.
Yeah, it's Colton.
Yeah.
I think he's the only player who was here
Yeah.
from when I was here. I think he's the longest tenured player here. It's crazy because I remember when he was a rookie, but that was a long time ago. You know? But yeah, some familiar faces. You know, training room, equipment room. You know, the photographer. Like there's guys. So yeah.
When you look back on your first stint with the Raiders, what sticks out to you about how much you've grown since then?
A lot. You know. This NFL thing has definitely been a journey. You know, it has its ups and downs for sure. But you just gotta keep fighting, keep going, keep pushing. You know, when I was here at the Raiders the first time, you know, it was like my first year we didn't perform very well, but then the next year it seemed like we were winning every game, you know, until, you know, Derek Carr got hurt at the end of the season. So, you know, it was ups and downs, but, you know, I learned how to handle it better, I would say.
It's your first time arriving at a team as a free agent because everywhere else it was you got drafted by the Raiders, you got traded to the other teams, you signed an extension with the Cowboys. How was that process for you with choosing the team, and did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was my first time being a free agent. Didn't really know what to expect. But I think it was a cool process. You know, I got some time to sit back and reflect. Obviously, it's been my longest off season, you know, without doing like things like OTAs, mini camp, you know, or training camp really. So, you know, I've been chilling for a while in terms of, you know, being in the locker room, not really having that camaraderie for all those months. But like I said, you know, hopping back out there today, it feels like riding a bike. You know?
You feel confident you'll be ready week 1?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I got to get my legs back underneath me. You know, that flight, you know, kind of did something to me, lack of sleep. But yeah, I'll be ready. You know, I'm a professional at the end of the day, so you know I know how much time we have until that first game. I'll definitely be ready.
What was your best memory from being here in the earlier part of your from 2015 to 2018? What was your favorite memory of being here?
Best memory?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I would just say just the camaraderie of guys. Like we had a great group of guys. You know, still talk to a lot of those guys to this day. obviously the year we made the playoffs, it sticks out to me because, you know, I felt like we really had a chance. And then just the big, you know, the big games are gonna always stick out. So I would say that too.
You were always one of the fan favorites. What message you want to send out back to the Raider Nation now that you're wearing silver and black?
Yeah, I mean, just that I'm glad to be back, and you know, I'm gonna do everything I can to, you know, put my best foot forward to go out there and, you know, dominate. So, you know, just like I think I've been on a lot of teams that had like the Raider-ish type of fan base. It's not a lot of them, but just so happen I've been on the Cowboys. You know, the Browns have a good fan base too, the Bills too. So, yeah, you know, those type of fans, they just want the players to play great. You know, so that's what I want to do.
That's good. Cool.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.